average day in the life of the painter. What time I get up in the morning? Normally about 6, depending on the light. After having some fruit, I potter around the tool, clear the filters, get the grubs off the citrus trees. And this is a process of preparing myself for work. It's a kind of routine I've got into, a kind of therapy, if you wish. Instead of sitting and clearing the mind before working, I do practical things so that by 8:30 or 9, when I get to the studio, I'm ready for work.
Frank Hodgkinson, at 77, is one of Australia's most industrious and versatile artists. In his working life, which began in the 1930s and spans more than 60 years, he has explored many mediums of artistic expression, from drawing and printmaking to painting and sculpture. Hardly a day passes without something new taking shape in his studio in Kenthurst, on the northern outskirts of Sydney.
I usually work in series, so there's no need to sit down and start thinking. In fact, I'd much rather not think. I'd much rather the thinking was done on the canvas, and I have a kind of conversation and a kind of love affair. And if I'm not involved in this love affair with the painting just doesn't work. And I'm not going to wait around for the muse. I'm going to grab the muse and give him a good kick in the slats and say, let's get on with it. It's a fairly solitary life. I suppose I spend most of my life entirely alone in the studio. The family had never come down here, or very rarely, and I'm alone. Never lonely. That's not part of it. My father was against me being an artist, and I had this desire quite early in the piece, even when I was going to school at Fort Street. I was the youngest of the family, and when I was at school at Fort Street between 1931 and 1936, and my father was out of work for some of that period, and he was a very proud man and refused to accept the dole. So he brought us up on his savings, really. He was not very sympathetic towards the idea of me being an artist, though he used to collect a few paintings.